All right, what are we tying tonight? Tying a whistler. This is a great pike fly. I've used it to catch a bunch of species, golden dorado, bass, all kinds of stuff. I mean, pretty much anything predatory will eat this. Striped bass. It's patterned by Blanton. Super productive and easy to tie, which I like. I tend to look for patterns that are durable, easy to tie and effective, and I just fish them hard. And that's kind of my approach in general to fly fishing. I spend more time on the water than at the vise, so I like to batch tie. Right now I'm doing pike flies. So you can see, got restocking this box. That's Chips Magic. We'll do a couple of those later as well. That's a great pattern, super easy to tie. Got a bunch of bunny flies. Let's see, here's one right here. Another really easy to tie pattern. I kind of like the narrow profiles like on Chips Magic. I like flies that aren't overweighted for pike. I'd rather change my line to a sinking line rather than having weighted flies. If it's easy to cast, then I can fish longer and fish harder. So let's get started. And there's a bunch of variations on this out there. This is just how I tie it. I'm gonna go black thread. And these hooks are new to me. I haven't fished them yet. This shank's a little long, so I'm going to tie everything back here just a little bit, but it should work just fine. It's these Kumoto hooks. They're really affordable. I think this was, $10 for 50 hooks, and they have a finish on them. I mean, you could use them in saltwater too if you wanted to. They are really sharp. They seem stout. So, yeah, we'll see how they perform. I think they'll be just fine. A shorter shank would be ideal, but they have a bunch of different hook styles too, so I think I'll pick up some more down the road. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, now that the thread started, is put in some bucktail. Due for some new white bucktail here. This one's down to the finish line. Oh, we should get a few more flies out of it. And I'm just going to cut off a chunk. Doesn't have to be too thick. Usually I feel like we're using too much on a lot of our patterns. Real simple. Just going to tie this in, kind of like a tail. I like to do a couple soft wraps and then I'll start cranking on it. And I like to throw a couple underneath as well. Just help keep that bucktail pointing upwards. That's it for that. Next, a little bit of crystal flash. Take however many strands you like. Just nothing too specific about this. I'm going to take them and fold that around the hook. And then I'll just lock that in. And I'm going to trim it just about the same as the tail length, maybe a little longer. Make sure that's in there good and tight. And then Flashaboo. I'm going with gold on this one. just because I have a bunch laying around. Silver works great as well. There's all kinds of colors you can play with. I tend to fish this fly in white and red, usually silver, but gold will work just fine. But you can change it up. You can go black and purple. Any number of color combinations are going to work great. And same thing with this. Lock that in. Nice and tight there. And then lengthwise here, I'm going to bring this out just past the crystal flash. So it's longer than the tail by a little bit. A few more wraps to lock everything in there. Then we're going to do one more bump of bucktail. Clean that up. Pike are pretty hard on flies, so I'm just going to build a big ramp in here and just lock that down. Very easy. Next, do some chenille. You can use whatever you prefer here. I'm going with red on this one. This is a little bit flashier. Got kind of like a cactus chenille type of a build. I'm going to kind of palmer that as I go, just so it kind of lays up nice on there. Get that locked in. And sometimes I skip this step, but we'll do it for now. I'm throwing a couple saddles. I have this saddle that it's kind of an old one, so I'm trying to work through it. This one's got some really nice webby, kind of fat ones here that I've been using. Typically, I'm going to look for 2 saddles that are a little bit on the thinner side. But I do like to put in some of the thicker, webbier saddles sometimes. Just I like the way they look in the water. So we're just going to do one on each side. I'm putting them about just a little bit short of the tail length. Simple, simple. Last step, a little bit of slapping. The other thing you can do, I do this two ways. I'll tie it with bead chain eyes. If I do want a little extra weight, I'll do dumbbell eyes. And then I do these unweighted versions, no eyes, nothing, which isn't a true whistler because it's not going to whistle with the bead chain eyes. But when I'm fishing a sink tip, I kind of like them without any eyes on there. It just casts nice and it swims nice, has a really nice action. Palmer that. Pull everything back. Build this head up just a little bit. Don't need much there. And for the head, you can do an epoxy, put some resin on it, whatever feels good. I tend to work through these flies pretty quick. If you're on the pike, they're going to tear them up, so I just put a little bit of super glue on. And that's it. Good to go. So once again, that's the sink tip version. I like the way it swims a little bit better. If I am going to fish it on a floater, then I usually put in the bead chain eyes. Not sure if you can see that here. But just some small gold bead chain eyes at the head, and you'll put those in first. Otherwise, simple fly, takes a couple minutes to tie. I'll crank out 10, 15 of them, and that'll usually run me, through the pike season alongside all my other flies.